We need to redirect this torque to the wheels that have traction so they can help move the vehicle. This is where brake modulation comes into play. By applying light pressure on the brake pedal while at the same time pressing on the accelerator, we stop the free spinning wheel. This causes the torque biasing differential to send power to the other side of the vehicle, and the wheels that have traction will move the vehicle. Remember, slight pressure on the brake pedal and steady acceleration will move the vehicle through most places that you desire to go with the Humvee. With this in mind, let's do some off-road driving. First, a steep hill. Begin by selecting the proper transmission and transfer case ranges, depending on the steepness of the hill. Then start up the hill at a slow, steady speed and use brake modulation to keep the vehicle moving if you lose traction on one or more wheels. This procedure would also be used if you were operating over obstacles such as gullies or ravines, or negotiating logs or walls. You can safely descend any hill that you climb by shifting the transfer case into L and the transmission into 2 or 1, depending on the steepness of the grade. Remember that this vehicle is in constant four-wheel drive, and when the transfer case and transmission are placed in the lower gears, all four wheels are working against compression to create a braking effect. Do not use the brakes. Let the engine's torque do the work. Do not travel diagonally across the slope unless it is absolutely necessary. If you must move across the slope, choose the smallest angle possible, keep the vehicle moving, and avoid turning the vehicle quickly. While operating in the mud, swamps, or marshy areas, do not repeatedly shift the transmission or overspeed the engine. You might damage the drivetrain. If you get stuck, do not attempt to rock the vehicle out of the mud with quick transmission shift changes. Damage to the transmission could result. If additional power is needed to get the vehicle out of the mud, place the transfer case in L and the transmission in 1. Then try moving the steering wheel to the left and right to give your front tires a different surface to bite for traction. At the same time, use brake modulation. After you get the vehicle out, place the transfer case in the HL position. If you are unsuccessful in freeing your stuck vehicle, use a wrecker or a second vehicle equipped with a winch, or if your vehicle has a self-recovery winch, use it. In this case, we will use the vehicle's winch. Your vehicle's electrical system is used to power the winch. It's recommended that the engine be left running while you operate the winch so that the alternator keeps the batteries charged. To begin the operation, place the transmission shift lever in the N position. Look for a suitable tree, a heavy vehicle, or another large object to connect the winch cable. You're now ready to unwind the winch cable. Turn the clutch lever counterclockwise to free spool. Make sure to wear leather gloves when handling the winch cable. Do not handle the cable with bare hands. Pull out the cable by hand to the desired length and connect the cable to the large tree, leaving 1 foot of slack in the cable. This allows time for the winch motor to start, which will give you maximum pulling power. Now check that at least 4 wraps of cable remain on the drum. Remove the remote control switch from the stowage box and turn the clutch lever clockwise to engaged. Now pull out the hand throttle until the engine speed reaches approximately 1500 RPM. A few precautions about the winch. The winch is equipped with an electronic current limiter switch to prevent winch overloads. If the winch stops repeatedly during operation and restarts in approximately 5 seconds, the electronic current limiter is being activated, indicating an overload condition. If this happens, stop winching and notify organizational maintenance. The winch is also equipped with a thermal cutoff switch to prevent the winch from overheating. If the winch stops during operation, wait approximately 2 minutes to let it cool off and allow the thermal switch to reset. If after 5 minutes the winch is still inoperative, notify organizational maintenance. Operate the remote control switch to in until the vehicle can move under its own power. Once the winch operation is complete, set the parking brake, disconnect the winch cable from the large tree, and wind the winch cable in until the hook is approximately 4 feet from the cable guide. Turn the clutch lever counterclockwise to free spool and rotate the drum by hand to retrieve the remaining cable. Turn the clutch lever clockwise to engaged. Place the remote control switch in the stowage box and release the hand throttle. Release the parking brake and continue with your mission. While operating the Humvee cross-country, you may have a need to ford a stream. This vehicle has a 30-inch shallow water fording capability without the use of a deep water fording kit. Prior to entering the water, check that the water depth does not exceed 30 inches and the bottom is hard. Then make sure the oil dipstick, transmission dipstick, oil filler cap, and fuel tank are all secure. Check your batteries and see that all battery caps are present and tight. Make sure you secure all loose objects on the vehicle. Finally, place the transfer case shift lever in the H range and the transmission lever in the D position. When entering the water, don't enter too fast. Enter the water slowly. If you enter the water too fast, the water will splash up over the hood and into the air intake, causing the engine to stop abruptly. Do not try to restart your engine. This will cause serious damage. Maintain an even vehicle speed of 5 miles per hour or less while in the water. When exiting the water, try to do so at a gentle sloping area. Once your fording operation is complete, keep applying the brakes until uneven braking ceases. Do not rely on your service brakes until they have dried out. After you finish operating your vehicle, wash it with low-pressure water. This is especially critical if water fording was through salt water. Do not allow water to enter the air intake cap or air cleaner assembly. Damage to the engine will occur. Wash all deposits from the radiator and oil cooler, driveline components, service and parking brakes, all control linkages, and vehicle exterior to include the lights. Lastly, remove any mud from the air cleaner dump valve. The last phase of our daily PMCS is the after-operation PMCS. This is performed after you have completed your mission and parked the vehicle. Visually check the vehicle exterior for any damage. Then check the tires, wheels, and lug nuts. Look at the vehicle undercarriage for any leaks. Check the transmission and engine oil levels. To drain the fuel filter, start the engine and open the fuel filter petcock. Drain approximately 1 pint of fuel into a suitable container and check for contamination. Now shut off the engine and complete the remaining checks. Check the brake fluid reservoir for leaks. Look at the radiator grill for obstructions, leaks, or damage. And lastly, check the drive belts for frays, cracks, and dry rot. If your vehicle participated in a water fording operation, have organizational maintenance service and lubricate it as soon as possible. That concludes the orientation operations of the Humvee. You have been shown the driving conditions under which this vehicle will operate, the operation of the winch, and the before, during, and after preventive maintenance checks and services to be performed on this vehicle. For any additional information about the Humvee, refer to the Operator's Manual, TM 9-2320-280-10.